This is what's inside his soul. How is it this beautiful?
Using a spell to delve into the subconscious of a character is a brilliant storytelling technique to teach us a lot about who that character truly is. In the Mugen Train arc of Demon Slayer, we get exactly that, as a spell takes an antagonistic character straight into the core of Tanjiro's being, allowing us to see exactly what informs who he is, what goes into every decision that he makes. And the realm of the subconscious that we see for Tanjiro is simply beautifully pure. Kindness and compassion have always been a central part of Tanjiro's character, right next to his incredible sense of smell and the head harder than diamond. He even extends this kindness and compassion to the demons he fights, giving even the most horrendous of his foes a kind farewell. But there's also an intense anger to Tanjiro's being that became especially clear in the battle during the Entertainment District arc as he fought Daki and Gyutaro alongside the Sound Hashira and his friends. This juxtaposition between compassion and anger is the focus point of this episode, and how they come together to create a strong sense of morality for Demon Slayer's protagonist. Before we dig into all of that, however, we have to consider Tanjiro's thematic roles in the story. As the protagonist, Tanjiro's primary thematic role is to provide a counterpoint to the demons, and especially the primary antagonist, Muzan. Tanjiro primarily does so through his empathy. All of the demons in the show are primarily characterized by their absolute lack of empathy towards human beings, despite being human themselves at one point in their lives. Not only are they willing to eat humans, many of the demons seem to take great delight in tormenting and injuring those weaker than themselves. Tanjiro's compassion provides a hard counter for this, especially because he gives it to humans and demons alike. Even after all the trauma the demons have given him, even after all the heinous acts Tanjiro has seen them commit, he still recognizes them as living, sentient beings. He still recognizes a tiny shred of humanity cloaked within the demon. This recognition of sympathy and compassion is what makes Tanjiro stand out. This is what is lacking when the demons interact with humans. Even the other demon slayers, by and large, do not hold the same respect for their enemies that Tanjiro does. Now, a compassionate and kind protagonist isn't exactly breaking new ground for shonen anime. It's practically a prerequisite of the genre for your protagonist to be generally kind-hearted, if not necessarily a great hero of justice. But unlike many shonen protagonists, such as Naruto and Goku, Tanjiro doesn't seem inclined to befriend his enemies. So far as the anime has gotten, at least, Tanjiro has never been shy about showing compassion to the demons, but he always stops short of mercy. He doesn't look at somebody who destroys a city and think, maybe they can have a change of heart. Maybe this person that started the war isn't all that bad. Demons get their heads sliced off all the same, no matter how tragic their background was. This lack of mercy is how we will get to talking about Tanjiro's anger. On the surface, it feels like a contradiction. How does a boy with a soul so pure that it would lead an enemy to his spiritual core in order to help them possess a rage so great that it destroys the blood vessels in his eyes and threatens to even overwhelm his body? But on a fundamental level, this anger is just another side to Tanjiro's compassion. Tanjiro isn't some hot-headed teen who's always itching for a fight and losing his temper at the drop of a hat. He needs to be pushed into this state, and to the point where his rage is boiling over. And his anger is always on somebody else's behalf as Tanjiro struggles right injustices in the world around him, especially those caused by the demons. And rather like his compassion, Tanjiro isn't shy about extending this rage to humans and demons alike, rather like how he was more than happy to fight the Hashira during his first meeting with them. Tanjiro's kindness extending into anger is vital to understanding the depth and sincerity of his compassion. The fact that he's willing to take up his sword and defend others rather than just feeling bad about their plight and then moving on shows the true depth of his empathy. It's not some surface level care where Tanjiro pretends that other people around him matter. It's not the shallowest amount of compassion that leads to a pat on the back and a "you'll be fine." It's a genuine desire to see the world around him become a better place and to work towards that goal, be it with a compassionate hand or an angry blade. Through the link between Tanjiro's compassion and his rage, we can find the truth of his morality, of what it means for Tanjiro to have a beautiful soul. It's not as simple as just smiling and being nice to everybody around you. Niceness isn't enough to make somebody good the way Tanjiro is. The extent of his compassion and Tanjiro's willingness to extend it to everybody, friend or foe, human or demon, are key to this fundamental purity. Tanjiro doesn't view compassion or kindness or empathy as qualities to be stingy with or judgmental with, to only extend to those people he likes and befriends. He sees them as a basic respect that everybody deserves. But critically, this baseline respect never develops into tolerance against those who won't bother showing empathy or kindness to others. Perhaps the best scene to demonstrate this is when Tanjiro kills the Mother Spider Demon in the first season. She actively attacked Tanjiro and his comrades. She devoured an unknown number of people prior to Tanjiro meeting her. But when she held out her hands, accepting her death, Tanjiro still took the time to give her the only kindness he could, a peaceful death rather than a brutal one. But it still resulted in her head being separated from her body. It still resulted in decapitation, because while she might have regretted her actions, she might have wanted repentance, Tanjiro wasn't going to forgive her. He wasn't going to show mercy, even though he gave her all the kindness he could in those few moments. Tanjiro's morals leave no room for cruelty towards others, but his kindness being the source of his rage helps make him a remarkable character. It takes a very general shonen trope, the good-hearted protagonist who fights for the side of justice and always tries to save the day, and gives it a lovely little twist by taking an equally kind and beautiful soul and igniting it with righteous anger.